we are living in a networked society where everyone is connected to everyone. We share many common opportunities, but we also share many complex challenges. And making industry cleaner is part of this bigger picture of global challenges. I will show that cooperation can make this task simpler. What are the three main global challenges of today? What stands out of this complex word cloud is three challenges: the financial crisis, the resource crisis, and the climate crisis. I'm sure many will agree that these are main challenges for the society of today. By year 2050, the world population will rise to about 11 billion, and the need for energy will have doubled. So probably soon, the era of cheap energy and cheap oil has ended, and our way of life, our society, must change. Before diving into the solutions of these three challenges, as promised, let us take a quick look backwards in time. Because everything was so much simpler before, wasn't it? Back in the 1990s, I used to be a research scientist at the wonderful and excellent University of Trondheim. I spent my days 2 levels below the ground in the high voltage lab. Things were so much simpler those times. As a research scientist, all I needed to do was to find the correct answer in the equation, and then mark it with a double underline. Done. Today, this will not suffice at all. Today, you need more than 2 lines to find the right solution. To solve complex global challenges, you need to underline the answer not twice, but 3 times. Clean industry knows this as the triple bottom line. It symbolizes 3 dimensions of performance: financial, environmental, and social. Making the industry cleaner means that industry must make sustainable strategies and business plans. And these must be based on the same mindset as the triple bottom line. They must show that sustainable solutions and profit can go hand in hand. So clearly, it is getting more complex to find the right solution. Technical solutions cannot stand alone. You need to underline solutions 3 times to meet societal challenges. Industry can become cleaner by working together with researchers who are developing smarter and more efficient ways of doing things. And Nordic cooperation can offer an international platform to do that. Nordic Energy Research is an institution under the Nordic Council of Ministers. But we are mainly directly supported by the national research funding agencies of the Nordic countries, as you see here. What we do is that we finance energy technology projects with research institutions and industry from across the Nordic region. At least 3 countries are always represented in every project that we fund. We have a strong focus on global challenges, both in terms of research and in terms of policy making. In the beginning, I stated that cooperation can make it simpler to solve complex challenges. And I do that with confidence because we can see that for more than 25 years of experience in Nordic Energy Research when it comes to Nordic cooperation. And we have presented the main findings and results from this period of cooperation in a book called Taste. And here, the value of cooperation is clearly stated by the project participants of the projects through tasteful recipes, which gives you in details the needed ingredients to succeed in cooperation. And I will give you some examples from this book along the way. Now, let us turn to the 3 challenges and their solutions. Challenge number 1, resource crisis. Complementarity can solve the resource crisis. So I have underlined this solution 3 times. Complementarity means one technology supporting another type of technology. As visualized here, Norwegian hydropower in the north balance wind power in Denmark in the south. And this can be done thanks to the common Nordic grid. And this gives room for more renewable energy and less dependency on fossil fuels. 2/3 of the electricity in the Nordic countries is already renewable, and the potential within wind and biomass is huge. Renewable electricity could become an export earner for the Nordic countries. And while the rest of the world is struggling to decarbonize the power sector, here in the Nordic countries we can go one further and start decarbonizing the transport sector. The transport sector being one of the most vulnerable sectors when it comes to resource crisis, as it is almost 100% dependent on oil products. Challenge number 2, the financial crisis. Here, green growth is underlined 3 times. A lot of initiatives, as you probably know, all over the world have been launched in order to promote a green economy as an answer to the financial crisis. Like, for instance, the new EU Framework Programme for Research, Horizon 2020. And this is stating that research and innovation is the recipe for ensuring growth and jobs in the future. The bad news is that nobody really knows what green growth is. We lack a clear definition. But simply put, it is the same as the triple bottom line. Economic profit must go hand in hand with environmental profit, so to speak. It is the triple bottom line transformed from the business level to the macro level of society. Research and innovation is needed to show that economic growth can be compatible with reductions of emissions of CO2. And the good news is that that's possible. The Nordic region has in fact already proved that decoupling of economic growth and emissions is doable. As you see here, growth in emissions to air since the mid-1980s have been decoupled from the economic growth in the Nordic region. And during the same period, the same countries experienced an economic growth at the average OECD level or above. It is, however, important to be aware of the danger of carbon leakage being a hidden part of this picture. Here you see the Nordic Prime Ministers, and in 2011, at the annual meeting of the Nordic Prime Ministers, the minister stated that green growth is an important part of our common effort to mitigate climate change. And developments at the global markets for clean technology contains a huge potential for Nordic countries and industry. And this is a clear signal to Nordic industry on the importance of green growth. The Nordic Council of Ministers has also developed a green growth strategy, and this year, later this year, the Prime Ministers will announce which concrete actions that will be prioritized to realize this strategy. Cooperation can make things simpler. It can make it easier to achieve green growth. And here you see a quote from the book Taste, stating just that. It states that cooperating in Nordic networks has proven to create greater opportunities to sustain the research and industrial drive, as well as Nordic competitiveness strengths. Currently, Nordic Energy Research is funding Nordic networks within our new 4-year program, Sustainable Energy Systems 2050. And we have a common pot of 100 million Norwegian kroner. With external financing, it amounts to 150 million, which still is small compared to your national programs and indeed EU programs. But still, we are proud to say that it is the largest common energy research program in the Nordics. 80% of the projects in this program have participants from industry. And here you see the different partners of the projects. And we believe that this cooperation will help making industry cleaner. The demand for cooperation between industry and energy research in the Nordic countries is large. And we could clearly see that from the huge interest for this program. In fact, our funding could only cover 10% of the many highly qualified applications. So obviously, there is a large interest in Nordic cooperation, and there's a large untapped capacity that could be used to create green growth. Let us turn to challenge number 3, the climate crisis. Roadmaps can help us solve the climate crisis. A roadmap that is familiar to most of us is that provided by the International Energy Agency. It tells us that if we go on with business as usual, the mean global temperature will probably rise by 6 degrees by year 2050. If you want to limit the increase to 2 degrees, we need to cut CO2 emissions according to this lower curve that you see. And the IEA roadmap tells us how to do this. We must employ technologies to substitute fossil fuels and increase efficiency. And at this graph, you can see the different technologies that must be used to achieve this target. How big a role the different technologies and energy efficiency must play. And what you see here is a roadmap for OECD Europe at an aggregated level. There is no roadmap for the Nordic region as a separate region, but soon there will be. In fact, Nordic Energy Research has recently begun a new and unique project. In cooperation with Nordic researchers, we will produce a Nordic version of their widely respected energy technology perspectives. Nordic researchers and International Energy Agency will work together to provide the publication Nordic Energy Technology Perspectives. And this will give the recipe, the roadmap, how to achieve a carbon-neutral energy and transport sector in the Nordic countries by 2050. Again, previous Nordic projects have shown that cooperation makes it simpler. Here is one of the previous project managers saying that projects like this are very important in building up the Nordic network in the biomass area. It helps increase the competences of both the academic and industrial partners and will ensure an effective path to good industrial products. I'll sum up by saying that making industry cleaner is part of a larger, complex picture of global challenges. And cooperation can make this task simpler. The Nordic countries are well poised to meet the global challenges, but without continued cooperation and focused support for research and innovation, this edge can be lost. So we will only succeed in solving global challenges if we work together and across nations. researchers, industries, and across nations. So let us continue to build on the long tradition of Nordic cooperation to make industry cleaner and to solve global challenges. Thank you.